Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Rory McLennan coming to you from Glasgow, Scotland. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. The Holy Father is inviting the faithful to walk with the Holy Spirit in trust and joy, and to be a church that contemplates God's action. He made this exhortation during his homily preached at the opening Mass of the 16th Ordinary General Assembly of the Synod of Bishops in St. Peter's Square on Wednesday. Quoting Pope Benedict XVI, Pope Francis said that the fundamental question facing the Synod is how we can communicate the reality that God has spoken to the people of today so that it becomes salvation. Pope Francis said that Jesus is inviting the Church to turn to God, who is communion, with awe and humility, and to recognise him as its only Lord. He also recalled the mandate of Jesus given to St. Francis of Assisi to repair the Church. Pope Francis said, "The Synod serves to remind us of this. Our Mother, the Church, is always in need of purification." In the United States, rights activists and members of Congress are demanding that the Biden administration cut military aid to Azerbaijan and impose sanctions for the ethnic cleansing of 120,000 Armenian Christians in Nagorno Karabakh. The non-profit groups In Defense of Christians, March for Martyrs and 120,000 Reasons Coalition held a press conference alongside Representatives Chris Smith and Brad Sherman of the Republican Party to discuss religious persecution with special emphasis on Armenia. They raised concerns that Azerbaijan was committing genocide against ethnic Armenians in the enclave of Nagorno Karabakh. Meanwhile, the Armenian churches in France have condemned the Azeri aggression in the enclave. They also called the armed offensive a plan of extermination and ethnic cleansing. In Sweden, the Armenian Apostolic Church has started a fundraiser to supply food, medicines and hygiene products, as well as blankets and warm clothing to Armenian Christians fleeing the onslaught. In Austria, the Catholic Bishops' Conference has called for prayers and help for the beleaguered Armenians of Nagorno Karabakh. The US Supreme Court has rejected appeals made by several pro-life activists who are being penalized with heavy fines for publishing undercover footage of Planned Parenthood staff discussing the harvesting of body parts from aborted babies. Footage made national headlines when the Center for Medical Progress released a number of undercover videos back in 2015. The videos showed Planned Parenthood representatives and other abortion providers discussing illegal activities, such as altering the way an abortion is performed to acquire a baby's organs, tissue, and limbs. Prior judgments against the pro-life advocates can stand as a result of the rejection to hear the appeals. In a statement, Liberty Counsel warned that the case's rejection would have far-reaching First Amendment consequences involving free speech and undercover journalism. President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine has said that his country is expecting to begin talks on joining the European Union this year, in spite of divisions within the bloc about that issue. He made this announcement soon after a surprise meeting of EU foreign ministers in the Ukrainian capital Kyiv. On the other hand, unanimity is needed on the issue as EU member state Hungary is opposed to the proposal until the rights of ethnic Hungarians in Ukraine are fully guaranteed. There are reports, however, that the EU is considering donations worth billions of euros for Hungary in exchange for its approval for Ukraine membership discussions. In the United States, the National Eucharistic Congress has opened its application form for young people wishing to become permanent pilgrims during the National Eucharistic Pilgrimage during the summer of next year. The 2-month pilgrimage comprises a total distance of 6,500 miles and will converge in Indianapolis on July the 16th of next year. Thousands of pilgrims are expected to take part in the Congress. Believers are invited to sign up to take part in small sections of the pilgrimage. However, around 50 pilgrims will cover the entire stretch of the pilgrimage, accompanied by chaplains. They will walk 10 to 15 miles each day, with there being solemn processions on Sundays and smaller processions at parishes during the week. Those who wish to join as perpetual pilgrims have to be in the age group of 19 to 29, should be in robust health, and capable of walking long distances. While ruling on 2 separate lawsuits, an American federal judge has upheld South Carolina's right to tie up with faith-based foster care ministries. The American Civil Liberties Union and Americans United for the Separation of Church and State had sued Governor Henry McMaster to stop the state from working with religious foster agencies. U.S. District Judge Joseph Dawson III made the ruling on Rogers versus Health and Human Services and Madonna versus Health and Human Services on Friday of last week. With this ruling, attempts to shutter faith-based foster care in South Carolina have been shut down. Now it will be easier for all foster families in the state to find an agency that meets their needs and for more foster children to find loving homes. The Beckett Fund for Religious Liberty said in a post on X that the verdicts on the two lawsuits are major victories for the people of the state. There is some good news for the church in Hong Kong, as the authorities are close to approving a Catholic university promoted by the local diocese. The Hong Kong Council for Accreditation of Academic and Vocational Qualifications has given the green light to the Caritas Institute of Higher Education to be upgraded to a university. The last hurdle for the Caritas Institute is the approval by the government under Chief Executive John Lee. If this is granted, the city will have its third private university after Hong Kong Shui Yan University and Hang Seng University of Hong Kong. It was way back in the 1970s that Bishop Francis Hsu pushed for such an institution. Today, along with the Caritas Bianchi College of Careers, the Caritas Institute offers post-secondary programs in 35 different disciplines. They range from social sciences to technologies and economics, with about 2,500 students. A pro-life monument located in a Catholic parish in St. Louis has been found defaced with red paint. The incident came to the notice of parishioners of St. Paul Catholic Church between October the 2nd and the 3rd. While attending daily mass on Tuesday morning, they discovered the act of vandalism targeting a cluster of white crosses and a white banner that reads "Pray to End Abortion." The parish and its school are located in the suburb of Fenton. The parish, along with several others of the Archdiocese, conducted a pro-life prayer service on October the 1st to commemorate Respect Life Month. The vicar, Father John Nicolai, urged parishioners to fast and make sacrifices for the conversion of hearts in the wake of the desecration. Religious leaders in Ukraine are up in arms against the proposal to legalize the porn industry. They have termed the plan a destructive initiative. In a statement, the All-Ukrainian Council of Churches and Religious Organizations expressed their strong opposition to the attempt. Church leaders say that pornography's addictive qualities harm people's mental health and that it would lead to the objectification of women. The religious leaders also claim that legalizing the import and production of pornographic materials in Ukraine poses significant harm to the morals and health of Ukrainian society. A new movie connecting the lives of Mother Teresa and a young woman who finds herself with an unexpected pregnancy will be released on October the 5th in some 800 theatres across the United States of America. Fathom Events is the group releasing the movie entitled Mother Teresa and Me. It chronicles the story of a young woman named Kavita who is wrestling with the decision of whether or not to get an abortion. She returns to her hometown in India, where her old nanny shares the story of St. Teresa of Calcutta's initial days while taking care of the poor on the streets of the eastern metropolis. Kavita is inspired when she learns how Mother Teresa herself faced many doubts when she could no longer hear the voice of Jesus. The role of Mother Teresa is portrayed by Jacqueline Fritchie Cornath. To prepare for the role, she worked with the Missionaries of Charity Nuns, founded by the saint in the city of Calcutta. An estimated 5,000 people in Ohio will take part in the March for Life this Friday in the state's capital of Columbus. All eyes are on the state as its residents are going to decide on a constitutional amendment on November the 7th that could enshrine abortion in the Constitution. Ohio is a battleground state where abortion is legal up to the point of viability. In a press release, pro-lifers said that speakers at the event will be educating attendees on the dangers of the November constitutional amendment. Organisers say that the amendment allows painful late-term abortions right up until birth in Ohio, cancels parental consent protections for minors, and raises basic health and safety standards for women. On Tuesday, the World Food Programme warned that a hunger emergency is looming for families escaping war in Sudan. About 300,000 individuals have entered South Sudan since the war in Sudan began in the middle of April. 1 in 5 children are said to be underweight, and 90% of households are dealing with moderate to severe food insecurity. According to screening data from the border crossing, more than a quarter of pregnant and nursing women are malnourished. The United Nations Office for Humanitarian Affairs has said that 9.4 million people are in need of protection and aid as a result of years of conflict, violence, food insecurity, climatic impacts, and public health issues. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us again next time for more. And do remember, in the meantime, you can always visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.